Most of you aren't subscribed. Make sure to subscribe, as it helps out the channel. Without further ado, the series starts with our MC, Mao. Hearing her father call out to her, asking Mao to deliver some medicine to the Verdigris house, but to be careful of kidnappers. As Mao heads into town, we see a gorgeous woman, Perrin, renowned as one of the 3 famous princesses of the Verdigris houses, catch the attention of all the men in town. Having dropped off the medicine at the Verdigris house, Mao begins writing up some notes on her most recent experiment, but is interrupted by Perrin, worried that Mao's experiments are harming her. Just then, the granny of the Verdigris house greets Mao, reminding Mao to not perform any risky experiments, wondering if Mao would like to service people and earn a little bit of cash as a courtesan. Not wanting any part of the offer, Mao swiftly leaves, telling Granny that she had left her medicine, but right as Mao leaves, the other 2 princesses appear, sad to not see Mao. As Mao heads home, she passes by herb field, ecstatic to be collecting such luscious herbs, but suddenly is interrupted by some thieves. Kidnapped and taken away, Mao gets worried that her father will be stressed about her disappearance, but at the same time, we see a blue-haired lady, Lady Lahua, give birth to a boy, and a red-haired lady, Lady Gyokuyu, give birth to a girl, both at the same time. As 3 months pass by, we follow Mao, now working in the rear of the emperor's palace, where women are raised with the intention of giving birth to the emperor's children. The rear palace forbids any ordinary men, only allowing relatives of the emperor or eunuchs, male workers that have lost limbs and are unable to work normal jobs. The overall location houses 2,000 concubines and servants combined along with 1,000 eunuchs, but Mao knows that since she is a serving girl, her life is expendable. Mao also notes how there are shut-in concubines, but Mao can't really complain about her current job, as she at least gets paid. Running into a fellow service girl, Xiaolon, Mao helps guide Xiaolon to her delivery location, sad to see that girls are taught the bare minimum to work here, knowing that even servants like her have the opportunity to become low-ranking concubines, but due to her childlike body, Mao brushes that thought aside. That evening, Mao chats with Xiaolon, learning that there have been rumors of a very handsome eunuch that had been spotted in the rear palace. That night, we see a very handsome man, Jinshi, checking up on Lady Lahua and Lady Gyokuyu. Sad to see that Lady Lahua is losing weight and growing ill, but is also terrified that both ladies' children are mysteriously falling ill. The next day, Xiaolon reveals to Mao that there have been rumors of a curse plaguing the rear palace, as all 3 of the emperor's children have mysteriously passed away. Apparently, this curse is also occurring to the blue-haired lady, Lady Lahua, and the red-haired lady, Lady Gyokuyu as well. Mao states that since Lady Lahua gave birth to a boy, she would be considered the empress consort and the higher ranking of the 2 women, but there are rumors that the emperor favors Lady Gyokuyu, meaning a power struggle is inevitable. Whilst eating, Mao also hears Xiaolon mention how Lady Lahua is getting sick as well, exhibiting symptoms of headache, stomachache and nausea. Having worked as an apothecary back in her village, Mao begins deducing possible causes that may have led to the symptoms, suspecting that someone must have poisoned Lady Lahua, but rules that thought out after some more thinking. Wondering if the cause is something passed down hereditarily, Mao wonders why she cares so much about rumors, but cheekily remarks that she should at least go and see if the rumors are true. Upon entering a more high-ranking area of the palace, Mao spots a crowd forming around the malnourished Lahua, who is accusing Gyokuyu of cursing her child. Not wanting things to get out of hand, Jinshi is called to stop the fight, but as Mao gets a closer look at Lahua, she manages to pinpoint the cause of this supposed curse, passing by Jinshi as Mao wonders how she can help without exposing herself. Choosing to tie a note onto a mysterious flower, Mao's message is ultimately ignored, leading to Lady Liwa's boy sadly passing away. Cutting to Gyokuyu, she is seen having a private meeting with Jinshi, revealing that she had received a mysterious message a while ago, telling everyone that the rhododendron flower that the message was tied to had a white part that was poisonous. Sadly, the palace physicians had ignored the message, but Gyokuyu would like to know who was the genius that gave them the message, asking Jinshi to track down the genius. Having suspicions of who this person could be, we cut to Xiaolon and Mao on their break, gossiping about any new updates regarding the emperor, but suddenly one of the eunuchs asks for the girls to head to a part of the palace. Upon entering the assigned room, Jinshi appears, greeting the girls and introducing himself as the manager of the rear palace. Without saying another word, Jinshi writes a message on a piece of paper, asking only girls with freckles to remain in the room. Afterwards, Jinshi asks everyone to leave, shocking Mao, as she realizes she was the only one that can read, meaning Jinshi has found his target. Asking Mao to come quietly, Jinshi and Mao begin heading through the palace, with Jinshi revealing that he had looked into Mao, and records said Mao couldn't read, but wanting to not stand out, Mao feigns ignorance. As they enter a different part of the palace, Mao prays that she doesn't get punished for anything, but upon entering Gyokuyu's room, Mao shows relief, seeing Gyokuyu's daughter, Xiaoling, is alive and healthy. Not wanting to take credit for saving Gyokuyu's Xiaoling's life, Mao tries to feign ignorance once again, but Jinshi pulls out the message received a while ago, stating that he knows the cloth used to write it was most likely from the skirt from a girl working with clothes. With no other reason to hide, Mao reveals that she had figured out that the white powder concubines used to appear paler as poisonous, having seen various women in her village continue to use the white powder, but at the cost of their lives. Mao also adds that she was able to identify the poison, due to being an apothecary, having knowledge in medicine overall. Hearing this, Gyokuyu states that a while ago, she was given the same white powder, but upon discovering that her child along with the nurse that provided the white powder was getting ill, Gyokuyu had stopped using it entirely, ultimately sparing her baby's life. Apparently, Gyokuyu had tried to warn Lahua about the white powder, but Lahua wouldn't listen. Fearing what is to come next, Mao asks what Gyokuyu plans to do with her, but with a cheerful smile, Gyokuyu states that Mao from today will be Gyokuyu's lady-in-waiting, just like an assistant. As Mao walks through the rear palace, Mao wonders if her being discovered is a good or bad thing, but at the same time, we see several soldiers suddenly collapse, suspecting that they've been poisoned. Seeing their men get poisoned, the leader of the soldiers accused the village leader for assisting the enemies, but just then we cut back to Jinshi, who has just learned of poisoning to their soldiers. Changing topics for a bit, one of the eunuchs asks Jinshi about Gyokuyu's new attendant, but Jinshi states that compared to Liwa's 10 attendants, Gyokuyu only has 4. But Jinshi reiterates that Gyokuyu is quite smart, only choosing attendants that she can trust, which explains why Mao is a candidate, as her knowledge of medicine is too valuable. Hearing the eunuch fear that Mao may abuse her new positions as Gyokuyu's attendant, Jinshi reasons that he should seduce Mao a bit. The next morning, Mao is seen packed up, chatting to Xiaolong, as she begins making her way to the Jade Pavilion, where Gyokuyu lives. Just then, Mao spots Jinshi flirting with several women, only to turn to greet Mao, following up by grazing Mao's hair in an attempt to seduce her, but this only weirds Mao out. Upon arriving at the Jade Pavilion, Mao is greeted by Hongyang, the head lady in waiting for Gyokuyu, who offers to show Mao around the Jade Pavilion. First visiting Gyokuyu, who warmly welcomes Mao to her new home, remarking that her child Xiaoling also is happy to see her. Next, Hongyang shows Mao the guest waiting room, the kitchen and living room where all the ladies in waiting are cleaning. Introducing themselves as Yinghua, Gaiyuan, Ailan, but when Mao introduces herself, all the girls notice Mao's wrapped-up arm. Hongyang states that there are no service girls in the Jade Pavilion, meaning that the 5 of them will have to do all of the work around here, but when Mao offers to help them clean up, the ladies stop Mao asking that she rest up for now, alluding to a special job that Mao will have to do later on. As Mao leaves, 3 of the girls begin speculating on Mao's tragic past, collectively shedding a tear for Mao. Showing Mao to her room, Hongyang instructs Mao to rest until she is summoned. Amazed at the spacious room, Mao is amazed at the promotion, knowing that only elites are normally hired to attend to such royals. That evening, it's revealed that Mao's special role is poison tasting, but Mao can't help but get excited at tasting such luxurious food. Jinshi reveals it is a serious role as when Gyokuyu was pregnant, people had tried to poison her twice, with the food tester being paralyzed after tasting the poisoned food. Starting with the first dish, Mao checks for any distinct marks or scents, only to finally taste the food, noting no numbness and concluding that the first dish is fine. As Mao makes her way through other dishes, Mao thinks about how she would run various experiments using poison when she lived with her father, meaning that she has grown immune to most poisons. That night, Mao advises Gyukuyu to switch the ceramic dishes for silver, as silver will react with most poisons. Amazed, Gyukuyu reveals that they had purposely used ceramic dishes to test Mao's logic, wondering why Mao doesn't reveal that she can read, write and has knowledge in medicine and poisons. Mao states that her kidnappers take most of the money she makes, intriguing Gyukuyu as she knows Mao doesn't want to give the kidnappers any more money. Turning to Mao, Gyukuyu hands Mao a large teapot, dropping it before Mao can grab a hold of it, only to wink at Mao as Gyukuyu states that she'll have to deduct damages out of her normal pay, but since she helped with poison testing earlier, Gyukuyu hands Mao a payment equal to her regular salary, that can't be touched by the kidnappers, impressing Mao as it's a loophole that Gyukuyu is using to help her. The next day, Mao is told to once again rest, only called to test meals that may be poisoned, but easily gets bored. Just then, Mao is called by Gyukuyu and Jinshi, who once again tries to seduce Mao, but no luck. Showing Mao a case of Baozi buns, Jinshi asks for Mao to check the authenticity of the food, but upon smelling the buns, Mao detects an aphrodisiac in the food. Amazed, Jinshi admits that he knew of the aphrodisiac in the food, which weirds Mao out, believing that Jinshi wanted her to eat it, making Gyukuyu laugh. Getting serious, Jinshi reveals that a group of soldiers had reported being poisoned not so long ago, exhibiting signs of nausea, difficulty breathing and other ailments. Due to suspicions, the soldiers had planned to punish the head of the village, but luckily one of the officers convinced otherwise, putting the punishment on hold. Asking if the soldiers ate outside, Mao realizes the cause of the issue, heading to a nearby rhododendron flower to explain. Chewing on one of the flower petals, Mao states that the flower gives the same symptoms listed, but in some cases, wood from trees can cause the same symptoms when burnt, making Jinshi realize that the soldiers did indeed use wood to start a fire. Relieved that the soldiers didn't harm the innocent villagers, Jinshi wonders if Mao can make him an aphrodisiac. Hearing this, Mao gets excited, knowing that she'll finally get to experiment with making various drugs, replying that she can try given the proper equipment. That night as Jinshi returns to his office, a random concubine attempts to seduce Jinshi, but Jinshi blatantly rejects her offer. Chatting with an eunuch, Jinshi reveals that he has been stationed here by the emperor, to test the loyalty of his concubines, but it's sad to see that most concubines end up betraying the emperor's trust. As Jinshi thinks about Mao, he admits that Mao is the only girl that is not attracted to him, making Jinshi curious as to what may convince her otherwise. The next morning, Mao visits the quack doctor, running into Gaoshin, Jinshi's assistant. As the quack doctor judges Mao for being a mere servant, Gaoshin guides Mao to a storage room, overwhelming Mao as she gets to experiment with all sorts of materials. As Mao is gleefully dancing, Jinshi interrupts, forcing Mao to get to work. As Mao begins writing up some things, she's amazed at how much paper she gets to use, pleased that Gaoshin is a quick learner compared to Jinshi who's standing idly by. Upon checking to see if there is enough cacao, Mao is disappointed to see a lack in supply, but Jinshi reassures Mao that he can easily obtain more. Back at the Jade Pavilion, Mao has gathered milk, butter, sugar, honey and powdered cacao, intriguing the other girls, as those are all expensive ingredients. As Hongyang orders the other girls to stop slacking, we see Mao finally begin to craft the aphrodisiac, stating that she had tasted cacao only once in the past, in the form of chocolate, which is considered an aphrodisiac. With everything mixed, Mao leaves the concoction to harden, but Mao also gets the idea of turning the leftovers into brownies, setting them on a shelf as she cleans up the mess. As Mao passes through the courtyard, she suddenly spots various herbs growing on the field, distracted by the various herbs, only to rush back to the kitchen where she sees everyone waiting for her. Apparently, the three girls had snacked on the brownies, and are now too exhausted to work. Presenting her chocolate and brownies to Gyukuyu and Jinshi, Mao warns that the aphrodisiacs are quite potent, and that they are 3 times as effective as most stimulants. As Gyukuyu leaves, she remarks that Mao is not knowledgeable with medicine but also can make drugs. With Jinshi and Ma Mao alone, Jinshi kisses Ma Mao on the back of her neck, only to leave. That night, we follow a lady walking through the palace, only to spot a mysterious figure high up on the palace walls, malnourished and pale. Cutting back to earlier, we see Jinshi talking with Lady Fuyu, but their conversation ends with Fuyu storming out. That night, a lady is seen dressed in all white, approaching another lady, terrifying the innocent bystander. The next morning, we follow Gyukuyu's 3 attendants chatting about their lives before serving Gyokuyu, even discussing how trade between western and central capitals is due to Gyukuyu influencing the emperor. The ladies also mention how stressful it was when Gyukuyu was pregnant, as many people were against a princess from a foreign land, giving birth to a child of the emperor. Following Ma Mao, we see Yingua check up on her, impressed that Ma Mao even knows how to make cold medicine. Upon seeing Ma Mao's wrapped up arm, Yingua checks to see if Ma Mao needs any help, reminding Ma Mao that she can vent to her if she needs. Changing topics, Yingua asks if Ma Mao is aware of a spirit haunting the rear palace, intriguing Ma Mao as she asks Xiaolan about the rumor. Xiaolan states that the ghost lady was sighted a few weeks back, only appearing at night near the Easter castle walls. Ma Mao notes how there are gates on the north, south, east and west of the palace, but each gate is heavily guarded and surrounded by a moat. Xiaolan states that the corpse of the ghost lady supposedly exists at the very bottom of the moat, but Ma Mao notes how that is simply a cliché of all ghost stories. Visiting the quack doctor, Ma Mao is amazed that the doctor is now treating her like a normal human being, ever since discovering that she is knowledgeable in medicine as well. When the quack doctor attempts to serve Ma Mao snacks and tea, they are suddenly interrupted by Jinshi, who asks to join them. As Jinshi sits beside Ma Mao wonders what Jinshi's role in the palace is, thinking dirty thoughts, only to be brought back to reality. As the doctor returns with tea and snacks, Jinshi sends the doctor away to search for items, leaving Jinshi alone with Ma Mao once again. Now alone, Jinshi asks Ma Mao about the ghost girl rumor, catching Ma Mao's intentions when Jinshi mentions sleepwalking. Moving in close, Jinshi asks if Ma Mao can cure sleepwalking, but when Ma Mao states that she doesn't know how, Jinshi annoys Ma Mao until she agrees to give the problem a go. That night, Gaoshan guides Ma Mao to the eastern palace walls, but on the way asks if Ma Mao can stop glaring at Jinshi as if he were an insect. Shocked to see that Gaoshan knows of her disgust for Jinshi, but Gaoshan reveals that Jinshi tends to fantasize about Ma Mao when he's in his office. As they make it to the eastern wall, Ma Mao is captivated by Lady Fuyu, who is dressed in all white, marvelously dancing in front of the moon. The next morning, Ma Mao speaks with the quack doctor, learning that Fuyu was supposed to serve the emperor, but when she had failed to perform in front of the emperor, she chose to shut herself away from the world, ultimately scheduled to be a reward for a military officer. Knowing that she needs more information to cure Fuyu's supposed sleepwalking, Ma Mao asks for directions to Fuyu's room, but before Ma Mao leaves, she learns that Fuyu is from a poor country, which the quack doctor believes that Fuyu doesn't want to go back to. As Ma Mao and Gaoshan spy on Fuyu, Ma Mao is surprised to see Fuyu so timid, reminding her of the Fuyu cotton rose, a flower that remains white during the day, but turns deep pink during night. Returning to Xiaolan to ask for any more details, Ma Mao learns that the ghost lady had originally been spotted on the north side of the palace, but has since moved to the east. Believing that she has found the solution, she wonders if she should operate on solely speculations, but still chooses to present her findings to Gyukuyu and Jinshi. Ma Mao starts by recounting a tale of a concubine that lived in the town near her village, being a cheerful and skilled poet at first, but upon learning that she would be bought, had purposely acted demonic to avoid being bought. Additionally, Ma Mao adds that the person attempting to purchase the lady was a wealthy merchant that had a wife and kid. Hearing this, Gyukuyu wonders if Fuyu was the same, but Jinshi smirks, asking if Ma Mao is telling them everything she knows. With nothing else to add, Ma Mao states that since that day, Fuyu had been forbidden to leave her room, but Ma Mao hopes that everything works out. As days pass by, people start noticing Ma Mao more quiet than usual, leading all the way until the day of Fuyu's departure with her assigned military officer. Having a private chat with Ma Mao, Gyukuyu asks for Ma Mao's true answer to Fuyu's sleepwalking, convincing Ma Mao to reveal the rest of her solution. Apparently, Ma Mao believes that the military officer and Fuyu are childhood friends, having heard reports of the military officer insisting on Fuyu as his reward. Ma Mao hypothesizes that Lady Fuyu had purposely failed at her dance performance in front of the emperor, to avoid any attention. Next, Fuyu had faked her sleepwalking symptoms, as a way to devalue herself as a woman and give people reasons to get her out of the palace. Finally, Lady Fuyu's dance on the Easter Palace walls was most likely her way of praying for her military childhood friend to return safely from the eastern battlefields. As Fuyu leaves the palace, she shows her relief to finally reunite with her childhood friend, showing that Ma Mao's deductions were spot on. That evening, Ma Mao is seen wondering what it must be like to fall in love, but at the same time, Gaoshan asks Gyukuyu a favor involving Ma Mao. Cutting to Ma Mao, we see several of Liwa's ladies in waiting scolding Ma Mao, having pushed Ma Mao down, and begun berating Ma Mao for trying to feed Lihua such disgusting food. Flashing back, we see that the emperor is visiting Gyukuyu, having Ma Mao taste the food for poison. But before Ma Mao can leave, after confirming that the food is not poisoned, she's surprised to see the emperor personally ask for a favor. Apparently, the emperor had asked for Ma Mao to solve and cure the Lihua, as Lihua is acting strange, and since it's a request directly from the emperor, Ma Mao has no reason to refuse. Cutting back to the present, Ma Mao begins cleaning up the spilled food she had made for Lihua, only to be kicked out by Liwa's lady-in-waiting. Having lunch with Xiaolon, Ma Mao tells Xiaolon about Liwa's sick state, reasoning that the white powder must still be running through her body, but luckily the white powder along with the flour that it has come from has been banned from the rear palace. Xiaolon is amazed that Ma Mao was personally asked by the emperor to cure his concubine, but Ma Mao notes how strange it is that the emperor is asking her instead of the quack doctor, finishing up her meal, only to head to the kitchen. Knowing that she needs to expel the existing poison from Liwa's body, Ma Mao decides to create a better-looking porridge, but gets refused and kicked out by Liwa's lady-in-waiting. Trying once again, Ma Mao has no luck, but catches a glimpse of Liwa's normal prestigious meal, noting how the food may be delicious, but it's way too heavy for a sick person to be eating. As Ma Mao is kicked out, we see Jinshi off to the side observing her, watching as Ma Mao continues to try and serve Lihua, but her ladies-in-waiting continue to refuse Ma Mao's help. One day as Ma Mao tries to bring food to Lihua, Jinshi appears, asking if Ma Mao needs any help, but seeing Ma Mao defeated, Jinshi charms Liwa's lady-in-waiting, allowing Ma Mao to finally serve Lihua a porridge. Slowly feeding Lihua the porridge, Ma Mao is happy to see that Lihua can still digest food on her own, but as Ma Mao wipes a stain from Liwa's face, she realizes that Lihua is covered in a white powder, similar to the poisonous one that had been banned. Getting serious, Ma Mao walks to the leader of the ladies-in-waiting, demanding to know who was in charge of applying the white powder to Lihua. When one of the leaders steps up, remarking that she was the one, Ma Mao slaps the lady to the ground, dragging her towards the draw, where she finds the poisonous powder. Dumping the powder on the lady, Ma Mao reiterates that the powder is poison, and that the lady's cocky know-it-all attitude is causing Lihua to slowly die. As Ma Mao orders Liwa's ladies-in-waiting to clean up the white powder, Jinshi can't help but admire Ma Mao's serious sudden tone, which Ma Mao quickly corrects. Getting to work, Ma Mao diluted her porridge, as Lihua is in worse condition than she thought. Next, Ma Mao opened up windows, to allow ventilation, as the incense set up by the Liwa's ladies were simply making it hard for Lihua to breathe. Ma Mao also orders Liwa's ladies to help wipe down and clean Lihua, only for Ma Mao to hydrate Lihua with tea to help flush out any toxins within Liwa's body. With Ma Mao spending more time taking care of Lihua, Lihua started to recover, allowing Ma Mao to begin adding fruits to the meal. As Ma Mao continues to take care of Lihua, it's revealed that the leader of the ladies in the meeting was punished and confined, having hid the poisonous powder from everyone. Checking up on Ma Mao, Janishi unveils a little treat for Ma Mao, who pleasantly accepts the gift, munching on the meal, but knows that the gift was from Gaoshan. Jinshi asks Ma Mao if they can help with Liwa's recovery, prompting Ma Mao to ask Jinshi to begin constructing a steam bath, stating that sweating will help Lihua as well. Returning to Liwa's side, Ma Mao suddenly hears Lihua speaking, leaning in close to hear Lihua ask why Ma Mao is helping her, stating that she doesn't want to live. Ma Mao reveals that she knows Lahua doesn't want to die, prompting Lahua to agree, as she thinks about the memories she had with her baby. With days passing by, we see Ma Mao help fuel the steam bath, where Lahua is instructed to sit in. Afterwards, Lahua is taken to her room cleaned off and fed, only for Liwa's ladies to help Ma Mao clean off and dry Liwa's dirty sheets. That evening, the leader of Liwa's ladies had returned from confinement, declaring that she'll be taking over Liwa's recovery and promising to never mess up again. Hesitant to speak to Lahua, the leader of the ladies is relieved, seeing how much Lahua has recovered. With 2 months passing, Ma Mao is happy to report that Lahua is recovering well, even able to wander the palace gardens all by herself. Seeing Lahua admire the garden's flowers, Ma Mao admits that she thought Lahua would be arrogant and rude after the loss of her child, but it seems as if Lahua has accepted the loss, making Ma Mao realize how pleasant of a lady Lahua truly is. As Ma Mao rests for the day, we see Lahua sit by her side, silently thanking Ma Mao for her help. With Ma Mao's final day attending to Lahua, Ma Mao reports that she has told Liwa's ladies in waiting how to proceed with Liwa's diet, pleasing Lahua. Before Ma Mao leaves, Lahua asks Ma Mao if she's capable of having another child, believing that the emperor no longer loves her, but Ma Mao reveals that she was personally sent here by the emperor to make sure Lahua lives. Seeing Lahua still worried she'll lose the emperor to Gyokuyu, Ma Mao reminds Lahua that she has assets that exceed Gyokuyu, whispering a technique that Lahua can perform that may impress the emperor in bed. As Ma Mao leaves, she reveals that she had learned the technique from the ladies from her village when she was younger. Finally arriving back at the Jade Pavilion, Gyokuyu and the other ladies are glad to see Ma Mao back, but that night, we cut to several men tossing trash into a fire. Out of nowhere, the fire erupts, changing into different colors that end up burning one of the men, who believes that he's been cursed. Check out one of our other videos on the screen or in the info card above. Subscribe, like and comment.